picks?
The picks I don't really favor either team. Obviously Navi are going to be pressured in the early game to make stuff happen. Like Jug is great in the laning phase with spin. Artstyle is going to have to make some decent rotations, and General's blink timing is also going to be crucial for their success. Alliance just have a great late game transition. Like Empowered Lifestealer, Empowered Bristleback, their laning phase is really powerful. Durable heroes, ability to farm as well. They have good wave clear. It's just very well rounded. So for me, Navi are the aggressors here, and Alliance are just trying to make sure that their lanes don't get crushed and they can make it to that mid-late game.
As we get ourselves in, I gotta do this nice and quickly. We'll go for
Prepare for battle.
not to two. So we're going kills. It's gonna be not too messy. First blood will happen very early on. Come on, it's Navi versus Alliance, ladies and gentlemen. Roshan kills. We're gonna go with 3. Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, Navi versus Alliance Game 1 now underway. Let's get ourselves in and familiarise with the teams and their picks so you get ready to root along for your favourite side and favourite player at home. On the side of Navi, we're going to be having General on the off-lane bat. Mid lane, Dendi on his signature Invoker, and down on the safe lane, Sineko supporting on Disruptor. Artstyle roaming around the map on his Enchantress, and of course Ditcherar playing the safe lane Juggernaut. Over on the side of Alliance, S4 on his Magnus Bulldog, bringing it in with the Bristleback. EGM going to be clobbering some Navi with the Ogre Magi. And let's not forget Ake over on his Kotl. And last but not least, Loader. The Loader Lifestealer. Something that in the past memes have been made of. But recently, Lifestealer is an incredibly relevant hero, and Loader, he's a bit of a master on it.
It's something that he's played for God knows how long. Back when Lifesteal used to be OP and Open Wounds had like a 600 or 700 cast range at level 1. That's back when I started seeing him play that hero, and that was years ago. So as you mentioned, something that is definitely within his realm of heroes. But looking at the lanes, kind of what we were expecting, it is going to be the duel off. They're going to send Ake down here with Bulldog, and it's not an easy lane to play against, even as a Juggernaut. You're going to have to get a really early stick, need to be concerned all the time about eating blasts and quill sprays just to overall harass. Looks like we're having a couple more headset issues. We had one of them the other day too, but more often than not, we've been pretty fortunate not to have too many technical issues arise. So
yeah, which is impressive as well, because we've got 4 games going on.
Yeah.
Everything.
There's 8.
Everything is happening here.
There's 8 team rooms.
Yeah.
Obviously 2 for each match, and then we've had very limited issues, so we've been relatively fortunate.
Yeah, and of course, worth noting, there's got a lot of crazy games going on this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know what else is at your availability today, not that you want to go anywhere else, this is Navi Alliance. We know you're going to stick right here, but just in case you want to open up another window, you got OG Wings going on, TNC versus LGD, and what's the 4th game, Andy? It's EG versus Syndrome. That's it. EG versus Escape Gaming is the other option. Now, here we have it. This is the match that counts, Navi Alliance. Already, General starting to skip the creeps away from the top lane. Bring them out away from EGM and Loader. He's like, I'll take these creeps around. He's just looking to balance the creep wave out, making sure that he's not going to do it underneath the tower. Mid lane, Dendi versus S4. Invoker versus the Magnus matchup. How do we expect to see this one go down?
I mean, eventually S4 is going to get the handful of levels. He'll be able to shockwave spam. You can see he's already skilled to level 1 in power, so he's going to have that bonus damage. It's not a matchup that the Invoker just straight up crushes, but he will stay ahead.
Wanted that.
And of course, last but not least, this bottom lane. As you said, this potentially very potent combination of the Bristleback and the Keeper of the Light. I mean, how much issue is this going to cause for Ditcherar? Or do you expect to see the Jug still being able to farm relatively well with the backup of Sineko's Disruptor?
He should be able to get some farms still. It's not an ideal lane. And you can see, like, Bulldog's even trying to zone them away from the side shot because he knows that Ditcherar wants to buy a stick. In this lane against Bristle, like, he's positioning himself so aggressively to prevent them from getting to that shot, make him use the courier, take it away from the mid player, just any sort of advantage you can get. But in overall lane, I don't think that Ditcherar will ever die, but he might be pressured in his farm.
Good night. No.
And is there a way that you kind of tailor your build to this aggression if you're the Jug? Do we see earlier points being maxed out on the healing ward?
Yeah, he'll probably have to get ward.
Yeah.
But he did make it to the side shop. Artstyle came down here and bullied him out of lane, so now they're going to have their magic sticks available. And that's That's more or less the thing that hurts Bristleback the most, because he might be able to do a bit of damage. And speaking of damage, General, in this top lane.
EGM and Loader trying to go for a hit, General. He gets himself off the map, and now moving back in potentially. There's a fair few stacks up on the members of Alliance, EGM and Loader. But General indeed himself a little bit too low to play around too much. Comes back in for an
Glimpse
ignite.
bottom lane, Bulldog.
Okay, they've trapped him out as Artsdale comes in with a rotation. Ditcher blade throwing is the face of the Bristleback, and there we have first blood for Na'Vi. As they punish the Bristleback thanks to an excellent rotation from Artsdale coming into the lane, which certainly was seeming to be the hardest for Na'Vi in this early game.
Now, those are perfect creeps as well. He had a troll and he had a centaur. So as soon as a glimpse comes in, you get ensnared, then you get centaur stomped, and on top of his spin, you're just dead. And that's why we were saying during the draft, it might be better to just put the Juggernaut in the safe lane instead of going mid, because it offers you that kind of damage to where you can kill a Bristleback. Because normally he's just too tanky to deal with. But now with the addition of having that spin damage in the early game, you can just go for him no problem.
Of course, losing lives on this bottom lane is something that Alliance don't want to be doing. 11 for 1 on Bulldog compared to the 8 for 4. He's still got the edge over Gerard, but can't afford to be giving kills across to the carry of Na'Vi. General, he's backed away from the top lane, level 2 now, as he'll just clear out some of the stacks in the jungle, play it a little bit safer. As we already saw, it's can be a little bit risky for him up on that top lane if EGM and Loader decide to make a move in on the Batrider. And Artstyle, he's ready to keep the ball rolling. He's looking for another bit of action, smoked up with the Centaur and the Troll Summoner. Looking to wrap around mid lane, see if he gets round from the high ground behind S4. S4 rather far down the lane at the moment.
They're going to try to force a skewer out of S4, but the problem is the timing is not so good because the rune's spawning. So instead of S4 like taking damage from Dendy, like a cold snap or whatever, and forcing a skewer, he just walks to the rune. So maybe a bit of a poorly timed rotation there, but they will be able to at least get some damage.
Artsdale will go on EGM. Cold Snap's already been used on S4. There'll be a glimpse back onto S4, but he skewers out. Now, with General's presence as well, they should be able to find the EGM kill, using the Firefly to run him down. Na'Vi find themselves a second. So they don't get the kill on S4, but they do still get a kill nonetheless. Na'Vi, at this point in the game, just making a lot happen. And Artstyle, of course, as expected, doing his wonders and making the magic happen on the Enchantress.
Yeah, he's got the 100% kill contribution, but that's what you're looking for. At some point in the game, he like takes his foot off the gas and he decides to go back for either the Dragonlance or the Midas and starts to farm a bit more. And Na'Vi kind of love that early game aggression into, okay, we have map control, now we're going to farm a bit and make sure that his Enchantress can still carry us in the late game just by sheer damage output. So it's typical Na'Vi things.
And Na'Vi do need to continue to make this happen, because if you do look at the two carries, Ditcher versus Loader, it's not close at all.
Okay.
There we go, Na'Vi. They found themselves another freebie indeed, as Ake caught out. And the entrance to the jungle, top lane Loader, going in onto General. The Firefly, so he should be able to play around this, but yeah, looking at Loader again, 36 for 8 compared to Ditcher's 20 for 4. Obviously, because of the pressure the Alliance have been applying to this Juggernaut, it is allowing Loader to get far ahead in terms of farm. Bonham, there's a glimpse onto Bulldog. Seneko and Ditcher moving in. Artstyle's coming across as well. Does have a trap. Bulldog will try and buy himself some time, duking it down in the jungle, but Dendy's Sunstrike is there, and Dendy will get himself the kill.
I'm actually surprised Bulldog wasn't carrying a TP there. Like, he bought one before he died.
Oh, EGM. This is not your half of the map, sir.
He is in there.
And he is out of there just as quickly. Na'Vi dealing with the Ogre.
Okay, I'm super confused as to why he was there.
Hey,
I mean, maybe he wanted to try to snipe the courier, but it's a flying courier. It's like 6 minutes in. I don't know what's going on here for Alliance in the early game, but I mean, at the very least, they're farming well on their cores, right?
Yeah, they really are. I mean, that is the saving grace at the moment for them. You look at the difference between S4 and Dendy, and then you look at the difference as well between Ditcher and Loader, and it certainly is there.
You can always look to the Empower during the mid-game to keep Loader relevant. Obviously, he's going to have an infest target in S4. You get the RP, get a couple of nice kills. Lifestealer is obviously pretty good against Enchantress. They counter each other in some regards, but if you can get on the edge as a Lifestealer, you can just shred her no
Talking
problem.
about the edge as well, 6 minutes in, he's going for the straight naked Midas.
Well, he's had a really good early game, so there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
You know that Alliance's high ground's not necessarily going to be super easy to break because they have really good wave clear, and they have the mag, obviously, with the RP to worry about. So it's not a bad choice to just go for the Midas, get your levels up really early, get some health, and get another item on top of that, like obviously the Dragonlance and Tris.
Oh, and Ake being controlled by Seneko. A Thunder Strike and a glimpse into a Blade Fury would be more than enough to bring down the man on his pony. And top lane, General. See if Alliance can get themselves on the board. Oh, 3 HP. Yeah, they've got it. Burn damage from EGM's Ignite will be enough, so Alliance able to claim a kill. But again, it's still 6 for 1 for Na'Vi, as they're certainly shedding more blood from the Swedes than the Swedes are able to from themselves.
Just gonna have to rely on the Blink Dagger from the Mag. I mean, fortunately, S4, he's doing extremely well in his lane. He's even out CSing Dendi. A lot of that, of course, due to the fact that Dendi was walking around a bit trying to get a couple of kills. And he is actually 3-0 right now, so that more than makes up for the CS differential between these two. And there's the under 8-minute Midas for him as well. So double Midas now for Na'Vi. S4 is still getting closer and closer to that Blink Dagger. Once it's out, I think that they probably just go straight away. Like, they need to make something happen.
Absolutely, very close. Close indeed. With that Blink Dagger as well, does he then need to bring Loader with him? Or do you think they'll leave Loader in this lane to continue to farm?
I think you definitely need to bring Lifestealer.
Yeah.
Because he's the easiest hero to combo with your spells, right? I mean, sure, you can blink in and do the turn RP and skewer back, which is one of the hallmarks of a good mag player, but you really do need the damage at this point. That's what they're lacking. Because Bristleback does damage over time, and Ogre does damage over time because he's only skilling Ignite. And lining up a Coddle Blast is going to be relatively difficult, so your best person to bring with is usually the Lifestealer.
Dire's bottom tower
At the same time, of course, as well, when this Blink Dagger is going to be there for S4, you just look at some of the supports of Na'Vi like Seneko. Probably about the same time, he will have the Static Storm online. So Na'Vi will have the tools to react to a jump in from S4. And Seneko, of course, so far, he's been absolutely on top of his game. 1-0-4, involved in 5 of the 6 kills. Got to be aware of the presence of the Disruptor, because he'll be very, very quick to react to a jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's one of those guys who just always seems to be in the right place at the right time. When he played IO at Starladder, and you were just like, this guy's everywhere. No matter what support he's playing, it's that similar feeling. So kind of in the same boat as you, thinking that his Static Storm placement's probably going to be on point. But again, Alliance, they're holding on. They're leading in terms of overall CS. And they have that Wombo combo, you know, that X factor where it's like at any stage in the game, we get one good RP, one good skewer, and we can just blow up Navi's lineup. That's just what they offer with their heroes. So still waiting to see what S4 is able to do with his Blink Dagger.
On mid lane, AGM, he's been caught out by Seneko. He's found himself another catch. Oh, S4 though, reacting with a 2-man RP into the tower. Oh, the blast from the Illuminate takes one down. They'll take a second as Loader turns up. And that is exactly what Na'Vi have to be careful about.
That RP was so close to not hitting either hero. I swear, if you watch the replay, that thing was like 10 range away from missing, but he got them both. That is absolutely ridiculous, just understanding the limits of RP so well. I mean, there's a reason why the hero is actually named after it.
Absolutely. Absolutely perfect stuff there for Alliance. So they are finding kills in return, and still, just look at Loader. He's 80 CS at 10 minutes in.
Dude, he's owning.
See how that translates to net worth, and indeed it does put him comfortably at the top. You know, no amount of kills from Na'Vi are going to be able to push them up ahead of the Lifestealer at the moment. Na'Vi will continue to look to make action happen. General has yet to finish off his own Blink Dagger. He's very close to it, so really can't afford to lose his life. Got eyes onto Bulldog. They'll glimpse him back into the lasso. Arsdale pummeling in with the impetus. The pure damage blow from the Sunstrike is going to be enough. And it looked like there was a chance for the Ancients to get a deny on him. That isn't the case. Na'Vi do get the kill. Arsdale playing around with EGM at the same time. Bottom, Ditcheraz looking to take a tier 1. Looks like no more blood will be shed. The tier 1 will fall. And Ake, he did get the deny.
That's actually kind of crazy that he gets a deny with 66 damage. Like, Ditcheraz hits for, what, 110? He hits for like half that, still gets a deny. What a player. But the early game so far, favoring Na'Vi a bit, but we also talked about this, they're the ones who need to be making stuff happen. They need to be the ones going around, okay, we're getting kills with Sunstrike, art style is very active, you know, the Bat Rider is using his lasso, he's also 50 gold away from his own Blink Dagger.
Yeah.
So at that point, you're going to start looking to Na'Vi and say, okay, now the aggression is going to get kicked up a notch.
See Ditchera hiding behind this tree with the Omni Slash. Oh, he's a sneaky juggernaut. Sitting behind the tree. Ake did not expect that.
I mean, the thing that's really annoying about those kind of ganks is he actually had a ward. Like, the ward sees everything except that one tiny spot. And Ditchera's just, like, waiting in the sidelines, just ready to go.
Oh, dear. Oh, 9 for 3. And Ditchera, with these kills, is still not quite on the same level as Loda. Loda's free farm has really been off the charts.
Top tower is
As
under
he,
attack.
I guess, but works towards the Echo Saber on top of the phase arm that Blightstone. And he's going to be punching very hard, very early on. And this life stealer when he starts to turn up the fight. And Bulldog has been able to clear a significant amount of Ancients as well. Started to help him catch up. Bottom lane going in onto EGM. Let's see if Alliance want to react, or are they going to just let EGM die? S4 is hanging around, does have an RP. We'll see if he thinks about using it. You can see Loda's turned up. He's looking to chase down Seneko at the same time. General's got eyes on Bulldog, has the lasso, but there we have the RP. S4 brings General back. They've already lost 2 though, Alliance. Ditchera still hanging around. The blinding light from Ake will stop the punches. It isn't going to stop the Blade Fury, but already General and Ditchera backing off. Loda's coming across. Open Wizard 4 seconds, but S4 jumps in, takes down General on the Batrider. They will find a kill in return. It's going to be a TP out just in time by looks of it from Seneko as Loda came back across to him. There's still Na'Vi taking the trade 2 for 1. Loda turning up, but just really couldn't kind of get the lockdown onto anyone there in that fight.
It's just a very chaotic area to fight in. When they started off, they drop a Static Storm onto EGM. He's kind of stuck and just dies. And at that point, they're really looking to get any remnants of Na'Vi that are still in the area. And I think what happened was Loda spent a lot of time chasing Seneko, but they have a ward on that high ground, so he knew exactly how much Loda was committing and was able to just stick around, get an extra glimpse off, prevent himself from dying, and still manage to TP away. So in reality, Na'Vi just a bit of an outplay, glimpse.
And these glimpses from Seneko.
This time the Flame Break's going to knock him a bit too far, so.
They can't chase him down, but Seneko has been each and every time.
Well, they're playing very well around their vision. So they're fighting around that area with the Ancients, but they have a ward. They got that glimpse, they had a ward up on the high ground as well. And that's the kind of synergy that you get when you have a Disruptor and a Batrider. The heroes just complement each other so well in regards to the vision that you get. It allows you to use your glimpse and get your lassos much more effectively.
Top lane, Dendi, a man that hasn't been present in these team fights. He's just using the space to put the pressure on, takes himself a tower. Catching up to the net worth of Loda, as we can see, just only a few hundred behind. Bottom lane Alliance will look for a trade, putting the pressure on the tier 1 bottom. Then he's going to continue to move across the top lane. Ake will come across to start clearing out the waves and slowing down this push. Loda gets himself the tower. 2k gold on top of the Ogre Club, so his next item will all be but done and he can start working even further into his build.
I wonder if he's not actually planning on making Echo, because he has the money for it.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's going to go SNY instead. I mean, SNY is very good this game because the heroes on Na'Vi don't have any natural escape. So you can just run at them. And I know that in the past, yeah, he does like his SNY.
He really does. So see if Alliance can stop this. I mean, Na'Vi, no, it's not going to happen. Na'Vi just take themselves to free tier 2. Alliance are coming across as a 5-man. Ults at the ready. See if they can actually catch any of Na'Vi as Na'Vi already start to retreat.
They just lost 2 towers and only traded it for 1. Not really the best movement so far from Alliance. Maybe they were just thinking that Na'Vi might react to them instead.
Loda.
He should be fine. I mean, it's really hard to kill this hero.
It is. Na'Vi, they are smoked up, hanging around. See if they can catch any stragglers from Alliance that come out alone. But Alliance keeping together as a team. And Na'Vi realizing that they're back up. They're still a tier 1 to take mid. So they'll focus their attentions towards that.
I mean, the important thing to note here for Na'Vi is they're still not feeling super comfortable in their position. Again, one good RP can still turn the game. So they're looking to just try to establish as much map control as they can to prevent that Wombo combo from ever happening. Because if it does, you're losing pretty much every hero that's caught in that RP.
Strength renewed.
Alliance moving across. General is on the front lines at the moment. Loda will get himself nice and deep inside S4. Smoked up.
It's where everyone wants to be on.
Absolutely, especially when he's playing as Magnus. We're going to go for the wraparound. See what they can find in the jungle of Na'Vi. At the moment, I mean, Ditcherar is alone, and they're actually going to make a movement towards
he
him.
is
This
dead.
could be a good pick, and no messing around. RP into the loader wombo.
My kind.
Alliance quickly dispersed of the Juggernaut.
That wasn't even with a power. Like, that was just a regular
Oh.
RP.
And EGM gives it the old clap and TP. It's Na'Vi try and beat down in the mid lane, nothing to stop it. So Na'Vi unable to find the kill in return, and indeed Alliance with a big pick off.
Yeah, this is the one thing that a lot of people forget about playing against the Mag is the carry that you're playing with just gets a free Battle Fury. And honestly, it's more cleave than a Battle Fury once you get the Empower to levels 4 and or 3 and 4. So over time, like Loda, even if he's spending a little bit of time invested into S4, he's still going to be out farming.
S4, talking about the man, has hung around in Na'Vi's jungle, and General and Snake have caught him out. Oh, S4 forces himself, dodging the Sunstrike. He's going to be on the retreat now. It's going to be a question whether he can get away. He skewers out, but the glimpse back is there. S4 controlled up and taken down. The same time, though, mid lane Alliance utilizing this time to go in hard. They found Denzi. They'll also find Dartstyle. So S4, the end of the day, it was all just but a bit of a bait, an Alliance with the favorable trade, and a tier 1 down in the mid lane as well.
And this is why you watch the El Clasico, right? The Na'Vi Alliance games, because they're always back and forth. It doesn't matter like what iteration of the team it is, it's always a close game. And this is no exception, so enjoying it so far. S4 with the favorable trade, like you mentioned, he didn't even have RP regardless, so it's not like he was going to be able to contribute anything to a team fight in the next couple of seconds. And now Alliance, eyes set on Roshan. Just going to lube it up a little bit. They do have Bristleback, so it should die relatively fast.
Let's see if they can do anything about this Na'Vi. They've got a Sunstrike. They'll know what's up. But Roshan indeed falling far too quickly for Na'Vi to react to an Alliance. They'll be able to claim themselves the Aegis. Loader puts it in his pocket. They'll smoke up and make a move towards mid. Can they get a kind of catch? RP is there, S4. He finds the opening that he needs. Multicasted. Oh, up on the high ground. Seneko comes down with me, Sonny Jim. EGM's we're with the 1-2 bongos. Seneko. They'll try and glimpse back one, but he can't glimpse back the whole team. Alliance striking back hard as they pressure down the mid lane. We may have seen them give up a free tier 2 up top, but now it'll be them taking the tier 2 for Na'Vi. No disruptor for this defense. Indeed, with the damage of the Empower, this tower's going to fall.
And Na'Vi are doing the right thing, though. They realize that fighting into Alliance's 5-man when you're not actually trying to defend a tier 3 is not the play. It's just too risky. You need better positioning. The 4-staff's now done on General, so he can now get a hero and actually pull it inside of the base instead of having to worry about how he's going to escape after he blinks in initially. Because before, S4 was like, all right, I'm going to RP you instead under the tower so you can't run out. But that 4-staff is going to have huge implications for how aggressive Na'Vi can play and their ability to find picks. But I was going to mention Na'Vi's draft. They are trying to split push it up a bit, but Ditcheraz's farm, like even though his CS isn't really that far behind what Loda has, just the difference that it makes by having this map control and getting the team fights, getting the Roshan, he's got like almost a full item in progression over the Juggernaut at this point in the game. So it's looking kind of scary. Na'Vi adopting the split push game, there is still, I guess it's only really one initiation hero on Alliance, and that's S4. So they can probably split up the map for a while, buy some time, get Ditchera, you know, his Yasha finished if he wants to go for the Manta Diffusal, or if he wants to go for the Blink. But they need some items.
And at this point, I mean, is it a case of Na'Vi wanting to wait for Alliance to come to them?
I think that
you're fighting into a loader Aegis and a newly completed Desolator.
Yeah, if you see that they're split and you see them farming multiple lanes, then you absolutely try to go for a pick, and that's what General's looking for right now. The problem is he needs another hero, and it looks like Dendi is going to be his partner in crime here.
That's for as well. There we have it onto Ditchera.
Jesus, there's just nothing like if you get smoke RP'd. There's nothing you can do about it. You're just dead.
I even had an Invis rune as well, though, Magnus.
Oh, that was an Invis.
Yeah,
it wasn't a smoke.
There was
okay.
no chance that he was getting spotted out.
Yeah, but the problem that Na'Vi are running into is that even if an RP is committed on one hero, it's not like they can just go take a fight. They still have to wait for an opportunity. They have to wait for Alliance to show on the map and be split and use their wards to their advantage. But the issue is their ward coverage is only really around the river, whereas Alliance have a much more spread aggressive type of vision. So that's kind of what you want when you know that you have the map control. And unfortunately for Na'Vi, the vision that they have is only really telling them that Alliance are on their side of the map, but that's not enough. You know, they still can't take an engagement based off that information.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
The Alliance take a tower. And the line has been drawn. They want to just finish out all of these outer towers first. Is the tier 2 next on the menu. Creepwave is beginning to push in. Dendi's the lone man up on the top lane at the moment. I'm sure they realize that Alliance is making a move over. No RP for S4. Still on cooldown. So unlikely that he himself could control Dendi up, but he'll just jump forward, clear out the wave, and start to get this push going on. As Na'Vi are left to clear out the other lanes. Also big item pickup, of course, for the Keeper of the Light. 22 minutes in. Ake has his Aghanim Scepter complete.
Yeah, Ags with the quelling and the gems. So this is pretty much a stalker, if you want to think of it that way, because you can just deward everything. You get the vision. The thing about this hero in particular, once he has Aghanims, is his sustain is unparalleled. The Illuminate heals everyone that it hits. You have chakra. You can summon people back. This hero is like the epitome of sustained siege. That's what you want to do, no matter what. If you can hit the tower and get out okay without getting like lassoed into the well, you can just keep going forever, pretty much.
But as you said, Na'Vi continue to do exactly what you mentioned earlier. They're playing the style with Ditchera consistently pushing out the bottom lane. Dendi keeps making an appearance up top. As Alliance are just grouping up as 5, but indeed we're going to see the strength for this push from Alliance as they'll take down the tier 3. Can they get a Rax as well? Watch S4 has the RP available on the side if Na'Vi jump in. Alliance looking to refuel. We'll see how heavy they want to come back in with the next creep wave. Have they got any big items coming out? What's on the courier? It is the Sanj completion for Bulldog. As he himself is starting to become a real bit of a beefy man. Vanguard, Mech, and Sanj.
I want to say he's going for Halberd for the Ench, because there is a Dragon Lance and a Force Staff on art style. So this is the point where Navi's lineup actually starts to become a tiny bit more scary, because you know, you have that bonus attack range with Impetus, you're chunking the Lifestealer, Magic Immunity doesn't help versus the damage that he deals. So they need an item that's going to stop art style from just straight up hitting at all. We are going to see a smoke here. It was not scouted by the wards.
I'll see what kind of jump they can get, Na'Vi.
They want S4. He is like the best target to go on, like bar none.
But look at the movement from Alliance immediately, keeping themselves out of harm's way. They head to the south, Loader's alone up top, but already he's brought over as well. So Alliance, they're back grouped up as 5, and Na'Vi, it's going to be very hard for them to get the jump in that they need. Dendi leading the way at the moment, but Alliance, they will be ready to react. And Na'Vi, realizing that they can't find that opening, they'll just have to back up and push the waves out as Alliance are able to avoid the gank.
You know, actually, they might have seen, not necessarily them smoke, but they could have seen like the outer edge of the smoke because the ward sees a little bit into the base. So there is actually a chance that Alliance saw that, but I mean, they just reacted so fast that it seems like they did see. You know what I mean? Like normally in like 10, 15 seconds, maybe you don't see them for a while and they're like, oh, maybe they smoked, let's back up. They were just like, nope, we're back. So there is the possibility that that second ward top did spot it, but Alliance still feeling in a fairly dominant position at this point, and he's actually not going Halberd. He's just going to finish the SOY. Interesting. I thought that he would go for the effective HP build and just have something to counter art style's item progression, but I guess they're just not worried about it, because it is daytime. You can just sustain with Illuminate forever. Heals for like, what, 550 or something like that?
Oh, General, quick to jump, bringing Bulldog straight into the base. Alliance Loader moving him on our stuff with the Ghost Step to keep him alive. S4 does have that RP available. Digira's going to blow the Omni Slash on Bulldog, but Alliance, they're still alive with the sustain from Ake's Illuminate is too much. Impetus not going to be enough to bring Bulldog down. S4 at the moment just spamming out the Empowers. He hasn't needed to RP yet, but Alliance, they're fine. The heals again from Ake, allowing them to stand their ground. Loader trying to move in, won't find a lock onto any hero, turns back towards the barracks. RV are slowing them down for the timing. Now the glimpse onto Loader. Impetus coming in, but again the heal from Ake. Loader jumps in and out of Bulldog and he's fine. They'll finish off the melee racks, get the ranged racks as well. The push is successful and Na'Vi just can't stop this power.
Lasso needs to guarantee a kill. That's how they stop the siege. And the problem is they went on like arguably the tankiest hero on the team, maybe barring Loda. And like you were mentioning, the Illuminates are just keeping them way too healthy. There's not enough damage that can be dealt. Like Ditcherod doesn't even have his lasso, or excuse me, his Omni Slash anymore.
General jumps in, but he's been multicast. S4 with the skewer forward. Ditcherod will play Fury, trying to finish off EGM, but they're just so tanky. The sustain is too much. And Bulldog He's just sitting on the front lines, hitting the racks. Now he'll look towards Dendi. Na'Vi being forced back into their base as the Lions have all the space in the world to finish off another set of racks here. 2 heroes down on Na'Vi, and it's all very quickly
GG.
falling apart. And GG indeed, Alliance. There we have it. S4 finishing his star with the 3-man RP, hitting them so hard that Suneko's DC. Oh, wow. Na'Vi, they had a strong start, but Alliance's draft, Loader's Lifestealer got all the farm in the world at the start. We said at the beginning that this is a hero that he is incredibly